Hi guys, it's Fentony. This is going to be my top 5 things that I am most excited for in Season 7, so just be careful for spoilers. Number 5, a Lannister reunion between Tyrion, Cersei and Jaime. Tyrion's not been in Westeros since Season 4, you know, when he fled to Essos after killing Tywin. A lot has changed since then, none more so than Cersei is now queen and sits on the Iron Throne. If you think about it, because Tyrion killed Tywin, all the stuff with the Faith Militant kind of was his fault in a way. It was Cersei who armed the Faith Militant, and the infighting between the Lannisters and the Tyrells made it 10 times worse. But if Tywin never died, the Faith Militant would never come to King's Landing. Cersei still blames Tyrion for killing Joffrey, and even though the truth might come out, I think she'll still want to kill Tyrion. And this is going to cause Jaime to be torn between Cersei and Tyrion. I know Jaime did tell Bronn that he'd kill Tyrion if he ever sees him again, but I don't really think that's true. I think at the heat of the moment, Jaime's just angry, and Jaime will be angry with Tyrion, and there will be some heated words, but they do love each other. But Cersei could be a problem here. Jaime's devoted to Cersei, and it seems like for the time being, he's going to stand by her side. We've seen from the trailer and all the pictures that's been released that he is by Cersei's side, but by the end of the season that might all change. There's going to be a meeting in the Dragon Pit in King's Landing between lots of major characters, and the Lannister siblings are going to be there. I have a feeling though Jaime and Tyrion might meet beforehand in private and behind Cersei's back, and if she ever finds this out, she might get very angry with Jaime. I can't wait to see the Lannister siblings back together. The three lions are all that's left. Number 4, Jon Snow meets Daenerys Targaryen and her dragons. We know Jon Snow's going to head south and meet Daenerys at Dragonstone. I see this as Jon trying to make an ally out of Daenerys, and also to get some dragonglass to fight against the White Walkers, because Stannis did say there's a lot of dragonglass in Dragonstone. I feel Daenerys is going to ask Jon to bend the knee, but Jon will refuse. Imagine what the Northerners and the Wildlings would say if the Northern King bent the knee to a Southern Queen. I don't think this will be the deal breaker and cause Daenerys to tell Jon, just leave, you're my enemy. I do feel they'll forge an alliance, and it'll all be down to Tyrion telling Daenerys, we can trust Jon Snow, he's a good man. But we do feel that Daenerys is going to require proof about the White Walkers. We know Jon Snow is going to head beyond the wall to bring a white down south to show Cersei and Daenerys. We also know that Jon Snow is the son of Rhaegar Targaryen. I do feel that neither Jon nor Daenerys will know this at the time, but once Jon meets the dragons, how will they react to him? Will they act in a friendly manner and sense his Targaryen blood? I just hope Daenerys and Jon don't magically fall in love. That's too cliché and a bit boring, to be honest. But a political marriage might happen eventually. I really can't wait to see Daenerys and Jon meet. People have been wanting to see this in Season 1, and even more so now that Jon's true parentage has been revealed. Number 3, a Stark reunion between Arya, Sansa, Bran and Jon Snow. At the moment, Jon and Sansa are in Winterfell, Bran is just north at the wall at the Weirwood Tree, and Arya is at the Twins in the Riverlands. We know Jon plans to go south to Dragonstone and then eventually north beyond the wall and possibly back down south to King's Landing. Sansa seems to be staying in Winterfell, and then Bran might go to Castle Black and then south to Winterfell. We know Arya is definitely heading north to Winterfell as she told Jack and Hagar, and from all the pictures in the trailer, she looks like she's heading north. But the question is, will all 4 of them be in the same place at the same time? I feel that Jon might just miss Arya by an episode or 2, and maybe Bran as well. Perhaps Bran heads to Winterfell just when Jon's leaving to Dragonstone, and then Jon heads to the Wall by sea. It is a bit confusing, and we don't really know, because Jon might end up going to Winterfell before he goes north of the Wall, so all 4 might be together in the same place. But at least I think we'll get Bran, Arya and Sansa in the same room. But I do hope Jon's there too. We have had some pictures released by Entertainment Weekly showing the Starks together, but just because it's in the promotional material does not mean it's going to be in the show itself. But by the end, I do feel we'll get all 4 of them together, and we're gonna cry. Number 2, Jon Snow and the Night King meet again. Hardhome is still my favourite episode, and it's going to be tough to beat. I'm a huge White Walker fan, and I love the stare down between Jon Snow and the Night King at the end of the episode. We've had the Night King poster, and in the animated version, we've seen Jon Snow's reflection in the Night King's eye. It's definitely teasing that they'll meet again. It seemed to me at Hardhome the White Walkers did not know about Valyrian steel. When Jon deflected the White Walker's attack and then killed it, the White Walker and Jon were pretty shocked, and the Night King looked just as equally shocked. and it looks like he'll remember who Jon Snow is. The big question though is, in Season 7, will the Night King and Jon Snow fight? I really don't think so, as I think they'll save it for Season 8, but if they do, I think it might be similar to Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker from Empire Strikes Back, and I feel Jon Snow's going to get his ass handed to him by the Night King. I do get quite annoyed when people think that just because you've got a Valyrian steel sword or a dragonglass dagger that you're going to kill a White Walker. You've seen how dangerous the White Walkers are, and the Night King seems like he has pretty powerful ice magic, and of course his necromancy, if you want to call it that. And if they do fight, there'll definitely be a rematch in Season 8. I do feel that the Night King is going to cross the wall, but the question is, how's he going to get by the magic? Bran's mark on his arm allowed him to enter the Three-Eyed Raven's cave, and there is theories that that mark will allow the Night King to cross the wall. But think about this for a second. What happens if the Night King marks Jon Snow? Perhaps the mark was a one-time thing, and the mark on Jon Snow allows him to cross the wall. Perhaps Jon flees from the Night King badly injured, and then crosses the wall, and the Night King follows him. That's just a fun little theory, and it would be pretty cool. Jon Snow and the White Walkers are my favourite storyline at the moment, and I can't wait to see the two kings, the Night King and the King in the North, meet again. It's going to be so epic. Number 1, Rhaegar Targaryen finally appears on the show. Rhaegar has not been seen yet, as he was killed before the series even started. We've had a flashback with Lyanna Stark, but we've not had Rhaegar yet. Using Bran's visions, we might get a Rhaegar flashback. Perhaps the tourney at Harrenhal, where Rhaegar wins and places the flowers in Lyanna Stark's lap. Perhaps Rhaegar names the unborn Jon Snow. And just maybe we get a marriage between Lyanna and Rhaegar. I'm about 50-50 on this, but if they are married, that makes Jon legitimate. We're not getting Robert's Rebellion as a prequel, so I'm starting to feel that all these flashbacks will be shown. George R. R. Martin did say that after Game of Thrones ends, we'll not need Robert's Rebellion because we'll know what happens. He might be talking about the books, but on the show we need all these details. How's Jon Snow going to find out who he really is? Will Bran work it out in a vision and tell him? Perhaps Jon has his own sort of vision? We know Daenerys had her visions in the House of the Undying, where she's seen Rhaegar, but that was cut from the show. Perhaps they'll give that somehow to Jon Snow? I don't know if that makes much sense, but I feel it'd be better than Bran just telling Jon. Oi, Jon, by the way, I went back in time using my Three-Eyed Raven powers, and it turns out you're the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Aunt Lyanna. Will we see Rhaegar talk about the prince that was promised and the Song of Ice and Fire? There's still so much we need to know about Rhaegar, and I think it's so important to the plot. But with only 13 episodes left, we don't have much time. But I think by the end, we'll get all the answers we need. So that's my top 5 things that I want to see in Season 7. Be sure to let me know what you think about what I said and give me your top 5. I really can't wait to hear what you got to say. I'm sure you guys will think of some really good stuff. So leave that in the comments below, and I would appreciate it if you guys could leave a like on this video, as it really helps me out. And then subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.